Hello, my friends and family. I apologize. I don't know what happened. I tried to get back to the video and it was like frozen and locked. It said I'm live, but I can't get back. So I'm going to have to review what I have talked about on the video. So I apologize. I hope whoever is watching will come back on this one. Real quick, I was almost done with college. So let me go through the lines again. Dallas 6.5, 46. Minnesota 7.47. Doing the NFL, both NFL and college right now. Arizona 7.5, 44. Tampa Bay 10, 50.5. KC 9.5, 47. Indy 10, 46. Philly 6.5, 45. Cincinnati 3 and 50. Miami 4, 41. Oakland 2.5, 49.5. Baltimore 4.5, 44. LA 13, 48. Frisco 346. Buffalo 343. College playoffs. Western Kentucky 3.5, 72.5. Utah 357.5. Oak State 5.5, 46.5. Kent 3.5, 74. App State 2.5, 53.5. Cincy 10.5, 52. Georgia 6.5, 50. Pitt 371. Michigan 10.5, 43.5. San Diego State 650.5. And Cal 4.5, 57 is not a playoff game. I apologize if you were viewing the other one. I don't know what happened. I got frozen out. I tried to just come back into it, but it just kept circling. So I don't know what happened. But anyway, I apologize. Briefly on Dallas tonight, which probably just started. Again, Kamara was out 6.5, 46. I probably would have taken Dallas, but they're so bad right now. It's hard to play the game. I didn't play it, but with Kamara out, I think Dallas is probably the better play. Okay, let's review college. I was doing the college playoffs. I like UTSA getting 9.5 from Western Kentucky. I think that it's a very competitive game. UTSA's defense is better. They got a great running back. I just see them running the ball, playing strong defense, keeping the game close and possibly winning. I take the win at Memphis. They were down 21-0 and won 30-28. As they're very tough. They'll hang in there, and they should win the game. Utah 3 over Oregon, over under 57.5. Again, I like the over of 51.5. Both teams are A teams. I just think that Utah, they just won and they beat them badly. Oregon looked better last week against Oregon State, and their quarterback was so bad in the first game. It was unbelievable. So I like I got to take it over. I don't trust Oregon in 9 here, but I do trust that they'll score more. Oak State 5.5, 46.5. Baylor. Now Bohannon, the Baylor quarterback, is got a hamstring issue. I don't know how serious it is. I'm sure he'll play. Question is how long. If you see the line drop to 5, he's playing, and take Baylor in 11. If you see the line go to 6.5 or 7, he's out, and then go under 46.5 because they won't have an offense. So keep in mind, if he plays, I like Baylor in the 11.5. It's A versus A, two strong teams. Kent 3.5 over Northern Illinois, over under 74. I like the over in the game. Both teams score in the 30s. Both teams give up in the 30s. That's MAC football this year. A lot of over teams in this in the league, and that's what you got. Both teams, good offenses, should just keep scoring. I think the game will be easily in the 40s for both teams, which is an 80. We tease it to 68. I think that's the play. App State 2.5 over Lou Lafayette. Again, I like both teams. Both teams are A teams, strong defenses. I just don't want to really go against App State. I do like Louisiana Lafayette and their quarterback. App State's just got that strong defense, and I just look for them to play an under game here, go under 59.5. Both defenses are in the eight. There's give up 18 a game. I just think in the pressure game that's what happens. Cincinnati 10.5 over Houston, over under 52. So as I was saying before I got really interrupted by the internet gods, Cincinnati, Houston hasn't beaten anybody. The only team they beat was SMU. They had a really weak schedule. Cincinnati, we know how strong they are. They did beat Notre Dame. I look for this game to go under. Houston's got a pretty good defense. Cincinnati's defense should be swarming. Houston did beat SMU late on a kickoff return, so Houston's defense is okay, but I think Cincinnati's just going to pound it, and they're just going to shut them out or shut them down. So I think under 58. It's hard to lay 4.5 in this type of game with two good teams, so I'm not going to mess with that. I think it's more of an underplay. Georgia 6.5, 50 against Alabama. I've already locked Georgia with Minnesota Vikings last week. The Vikings getting 9-1 on the site. Houston. So I got Georgia +2 last Sunday locked, and then I love the under in the game 50. Alabama strong defense. Should hold Georgia down. Georgia's going to shut them out. 28-0 is my score here. So therefore I like the under too. So it's almost a double lock. I've already locked Georgia in 2, but I think also the lock of under 50, go under 56. Definitely it's huge. Wake Forest Pitt 3 over Wake Forest, over under 71. Wake, very weak defense. Let's take a look at Pitt and Wake. So I don't know, my computer it didn't die, but it's just you died, and I couldn't get back in. So I'm hoping I can get back in. Okay, I was able to get back in. Now I'm able to go back here. Okay, so let's look at, first Georgia, Alabama. Let's look at the numbers. Hello. Okay, Georgia, Alabama. So we know Georgia. They score 40 and give up 6.9 points a game. It's unbelievable. Alabama 42 gives up 19, but we saw Alabama against Auburn, and this is the reason I locked Georgia. They couldn't move on Auburn. They're not going to move on Georgia. Auburn's defense gives up 22 a game. They couldn't get a first down on Auburn. They lost to A&M, who gives up 15 a game. So the two tough defenses they played, they barely beat Auburn, and they lost to A&M. And here comes Georgia giving up 6.9 a game. Good luck. I like Stenson. They're well-balanced, 240 passing, 202 running. Well, we know all about Georgia. Alabama's a passing team, and you don't pass on Georgia. So I love the lock there. Wake Forest and Pitt. Wake Forest scores 42 a game, gives up 29. So call it a weak defense. 484. They pass it all over the place. Pitt scores 42, gives up 23. I think they've played each other already in a high-scoring game. I like this game over. Pitt's the better team here. Pitt should win, but Wake will score on you. They'll both be in the 40s as an 80. It's just like the other game. I'd take this game over 65, and that two teams that score 40, and with Wake's defense, it should definitely get there easily. Michigan, Iowa. Michigan minus 10.5, 43.5. Got the monkey off the back after 22 years of losing to Ohio State. It's funny, the last time they won, it was against the freshman quarterback, J.T. Barrett, I believe, who it was a freshman year. He didn't play well, and they still almost won at the end. A close pass that didn't get through. I looked at Iowa's loss. They lost to Wisconsin 27-7. So what does Wisconsin do? They ran it down their throat. What's Michigan do? They run it down your throat. Michigan ran it down Ohio State's throat like Oregon ran it. So we've now found out Ohio State's weakness is power running right at them. They don't know how to defend it. That's their weakness. So in the bowl game, we'll see who they play. If it's a power running team, they're in trouble. Michigan, I do not think they'll be flat. Yes, they played Ohio State. I don't think they'll be flat. I think they're going to I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to okay, let's beat Iowa and get to the playoff. That's really their goal. Beating Ohio State, I think, gives them confidence, but I don't think it's like they're going to be real flat because they just beat Ohio State. And I think they can run it down Iowa's throat, and I don't think Iowa can do much. Yeah, I really like Michigan -4.5. I also like over 43. I think Michigan beats them 35-10 or so, but I think 43 is too low. Michigan's been playing. They went over in the Wisconsin game. They went way over in Ohio State. They went way over at Michigan State. They're scoring in the 30s against these teams. I don't see why they won't score 35, which is why I like Michigan. But it also makes it's like the Georgia game. I like Georgia, but I also like the under. I like Michigan, and I also like the over here. 43.5 is just way too low. It's like the Georgia's 50. Where are they again with 50? You go under 56. So I definitely like Michigan. I definitely like the over in the game. Derek, has Georgia really been tested passing? Can Alabama speed guys get down the field? Derek, Georgia 28, Alabama nothing. Well, I mean, they played Arkansas, they played Florida, they played Kentucky. So they played some passing teams, but I'm not quite sure Alabama is all that after watching the Auburn game and the A&M game. That's really your question. Is Alabama really this passing team? What Georgia does is they'll put pressure on the quarterback so he can't even throw. Right, he goes back, and the defensive line is on him before. They have extremely fast linebackers and an extremely talented secondary. Georgia 28, Alabama nothing. Is Michigan going to be a little slow? Can they beat the spread? Yeah, Michigan's going to. Again, I see this 35-10. I think Michigan is. They put up a 30 on Michigan State and lost. They put up a 40 on Ohio State. They put up a 30 on Wisconsin. So 3 good defenses. They did fine against that. Their defense isn't that strong, but Iowa's kind of weak. Even Nebraska put up a 21 on Iowa last week. And the only reason Iowa did anything, they blocked the punt. They got a safety. They would have lost. They should have lost 21-14. So I think Michigan handles Iowa. Like I said, I don't think they're going to be flat. I think they can now see the play. They win, they're in the playoffs. So I can see that. So therefore, I'm not really concerned about them being flat. So yeah, I think Michigan doesn't really have much of a problem against Iowa because now they beat Ohio State. So now it's like, we know we're good. We beat Ohio State. So now here comes Iowa, and Iowa lost to Wisconsin 27-7. So they played a good defense. I don't know how healthy their quarterback is. It says he's healthy. I don't see any injuries to Iowa. Let's see, Iowa. I don't see any injuries at all to Michigan. Iowa. Come on. I keep missing the eyes. Iowa, just the defensive linemen, so they don't have anybody injured. Houston has only lost 1 game, a good team. Will they give Cincinnati trouble? Well, I pointed out Houston, they've only played 1 good team, SMU, and they beat them on a kickoff return with 2 seconds left in the game. They played nobody. Their loss was to Texas Tech the first week. And their schedule is horrible. They beat Rice. They beat Tulane, Tulsa. SMU's their best win. And like I said, SMU does not have a defense. I think Cincinnati, 35-3. I think Cincinnati, I don't know how bad they'll blow them out because Houston, I don't know how good Houston's defense is because they come across as a strong defense, but they haven't played anybody. And they haven't played anybody in Cincinnati's caliber. Cincinnati beat Notre Dame, and this is for the title, and they go to the playoffs. And I don't know where the game's at, but Cincinnati laying 10.5. I think it's an under 52, under 58, because I think since he just shuts them down. Houston, I don't know, but Cincinnati doesn't seem to score a lot. They're going to run a lot. They're going to play that strong defense. I think Cincinnati dominates them pretty good. Last game, San Diego State, 50.5 over Utah State. San Diego State's got a great defense, very low scoring team, good quarterback. Utah State's an over team. I look at San Diego State here. They just beat Boise. I think they get the win here. This is in Vegas. This game, I know where it's at. Michigan, I know, is in Indiana. And the Pitt Wake Forest game, I believe, is in Georgia or Carolina. And then Alabama, Georgia is at whatever it's called now, in Atlanta. And Baylor Oak State's at the Jerry Dome. Oregon, Utah, I believe, is in California. Who win the Baylor game? Is Oklahoma State just satisfied? No, Oklahoma State can go to the playoff with the win here. I look for if Bohannon, the Baylor quarterback, plays, tease the dog. I mean, this game's even. They both beat Oklahoma, but Baylor really beat Oklahoma. Baylor is, I think, a little bit better. Oak State's got a strong defense. I think this is, if the Baylor quarterback plays, you tease the dog. If he doesn't play, you go under, because then and they got a great running back. They're just not going to be able to score that much. So it'll be more of a low-scoring game. But no, Baylor, once you're here, like Cincinnati, Oak State, Michigan, they are not going to be flat with the chance to get to the playoff. But Baylor has a chance to the playoffs. I see Bohannon playing. Question is, he's got a hamstring issue. How long can he play in the game? Hi, Todd. Do you see any upsets possibly happening on Saturday's games? Yeah, I had technical difficulties. I lost my feed, so I was halfway done with this when I did. So to recap, I see UTSA with a real good chance for the upset. Baylor with a good chance for the upset. That's about it. I don't see anybody else with a chance for the upset. Cincinnati will win. Georgia, maybe Wake, but their defense is so bad. But it'll be a high-scoring game. And Michigan and San Diego State, they're just, Michigan's going to dominate. Georgia's going to dominate. Cincy should dominate. So I really don't see any upsets. But I think UTSA is the better team, and Baylor with Bohannon is a strong team. I don't think Lou Lafayette. App State's got a good defense, but they could pull it. But that's about it. So that's what I see there, Todd. I think that let me know if you have any other college questions. Let's go to the pro. So this is a double show. There's not a lot of games, so I can talk about both. It's already Thursday, so I already think Dallas will win tonight. I don't know. I've been doing this, so I don't know if there's a score yet, but without Kamara and with Simeon, New Orleans is in big trouble. Let's get on to the others then. Minnesota 7-47. Minnesota owns Detroit. They've won the last 6 or 7. They're the better team, although Kirk Cousins, oh my God. I don't know if anybody saw the ending of that. That was my lock last week. I got 9 in Minnesota. They got the ball at the 2-yard line late in the game. And what does Kirk Cousins do? He lines up over the guard, not the center. They have to call timeout. And then he throws the ball out of the end zone on 4th and 2. Cook was out, or I would have thought they would have ran Cook twice and just scored. So he's out. They should have ran Matheson more. I don't like these passes from the 2-yard line when there's no room to go. Very surprising. They lose by 8. I had 9, so the lock wins. Again, it's with Georgia in 2. But now they own Detroit. They should beat them. In the first game, Detroit got lucky at the end, and they were down 10, and I think Minnesota scores a bit more. I do not like Kirk Cousins, but he's from Detroit. He went to Michigan State. I just don't know. Detroit's a terrible home dog. Huge trend on Minnesota here. They own Detroit. I think Minnesota -1 is a very strong play. Arizona 7.5 over the Bears. Kyler Murray, again, questionable, but the way Colt McCoy's playing, I don't know that matters. Although I do like Chicago much better with Andy Dalton playing. They're a real team. I think if it's Colt McCoy against Andy Dalton, I think I like the Bears in 13.5. Khalil Mack is out, which doesn't help Chicago. But I think they keep it competitive. It's going to be cold in Chicago. Arizona's not going to like that. I think Colt McCoy's okay, but I don't see him lighting it up against the Bears. Now, if Kyler Murray's in, I like Kyler Murray. But if it's Colt McCoy again, I like the Bears in 13.5. Derek, NFL is so full of upsets every week. Who falls this week? The NFL stinks. First of all, there's 2 coaches, Belichick and Coach Pete and Sean Payton, 3 coaches. That's it. The rest of the league, the coaches suck. I mean, look at the Lions coach. The guy's never coached before. How do you hire a guy that's never coached before to coach your football team? It's just amazing. That's why I don't know how anybody roots for the Lions. I mean, you've got to be kidding. They put out such a shit product. But so if we go at upsets, like I just said, the Bears, if Dalton plays and Kyler Murray is out, Tampa will beat Atlanta. Denver could play KC a game. Indy should win. The Jets could upset Philly because I have no idea, because I don't know who Philly is. I don't know who the Jets are. San Diego could upset Cincinnati. Cincinnati, you don't know what team you got there. Miami and the Giants. I think Jones is out for the Giants. I don't recall the backup right now, but I don't know how Miami can be favored in any game. Oakland, Washington. Washington could easily upset them. Both teams have weak defenses. Baltimore, Pit. Pitt could easily upset Baltimore as bad as they looked. Baltimore doesn't look great. LA will beat Jacksonville. Frisco should beat Seattle, and New England definitely will beat Buffalo. That to me is not even an upset. That's just the picks. But let me get through the games, and we'll get back to this. So Tampa 10 over Atlanta. Tampa owns Atlanta. Brady's won all 3 games against them. See, it's hard. Now you got Brady. You can't look at 5 years ago's trends. This is what's really screwing me up in the pros. I like to look at 10-year. I like to get enough stats and look at a 10-year trend and a 5-year trend and all this stuff. And I can't. I got Brady. I can't look at Tampa's old trends. I got Mahomes. I can. Aaron Rodgers. I can. But it's very hard to look at old trends. Minnesota, yes. Detroit, no. I mean, you got a new quarterback, which means you can't look at the Rams. And Seattle, I don't know what's happening to them. New England's got Jones. That's a new trend. Buffalo, you can kind of look at. But a lot of these teams, they either have a new coach or a new quarterback, which throws out 5-year-old trends, which makes it a real bad thing. Derek, think Bills beats Buffalo. Think Bill beats Buffalo. Yeah, I absolutely. If he does, I really think he's the coach of the year. Well, yeah, they're playing well. He's got a quarterback in Jones. Either him or the Green Bay coach. Green Bay's just rolling everybody. And even Arizona, he's winning with Colt McCoy. But, yeah, I think and I don't even think it's an upset if New England wins. They're the better team. Buffalo, now I make a comment to my buddy, and I go, really, I don't think Buffalo's that good of a team, even though they score a lot, because they lost to Pitt, they lost to Tennessee, They lost to Jacksonville. They beat Kansas City, and then they lost to Indy. And I'm saying, who have they beat? They beat the Jets twice, Miami twice. Both teams suck. I think they beat Houston. I mean, the teams they beat were terrible. And then you've got against the good teams, the only one they beat was Kansas City, but Kansas City was sucking that night. Otherwise, Josh Allen I don't get him. He wants to run. They don't have a running attack. What do you think, New England? What do you think Belichick's going to do against this guy? All right, he's going to blitz him every play. Josh Allen's going to look like pathetic as he is. When you blitz Josh Allen, he's terrible. He can't read the blitz. They don't know how to dump it. They don't have running, so they're not going to run. So what do you think he's going to do? It's going to be a 6-man rush every play. He's going to sack him 5 times at least, and he won't be able to complete anything. Jones will go up and down the field on him. Absolutely, New England with a pretty easy win. Todd, I like New England and the under. Lock it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the under, but I like New England. Yeah, probably the under because of their defense. But I like New England and 9 very, very much. Let's see. So back to I keep getting off on these question tangents. Kansas City 9.5 over Denver 47. The trends on Denver. Not much of a head-to-head trend. I don't know. Hill's questionable. Tyrod Hill. I could see Denver playing a close game here. I don't get this spread. Denver just killed San Diego. They're a good team. I like Bridgewater. I don't see why this spread's so high. I don't see KC. They beat Dallas 19-9. It's not like they put up a 40 on Dallas. They played that one good game where they beat Oakland, I believe. And that's it. So they beat Dallas 19-9, and all the receivers were out for Dallas. I think Denver keeps this game close. Going on the comments where there really isn't, KC's not, the power team. And I just don't see a power team that you can count on. There's no Joe Montana. There's no Lawrence Taylor. I just don't see that Emmitt Smith team that you're going, wow, they're going to kill them. I get 15.5 at Denver. I think it's a good play. Indy 10 over Houston. Indy owns Houston. The trends are all Indy. I like Indy here. Tyrod Taylor lost to the freaking Jets last week on some idiot turnovers. No, I didn't play the game, but I was just amazed. I go, how did the Jets win? And it was a couple of really stupid turnovers. Indy -10. Indy's rolling. They lost. They played very well against Tampa, put up a lot of points. I think they score a lot in this game and beat Houston. They need the game. Philly 6.5 over the Jets. Who the hell knows? I can't trust Philly. The Jets, I can't name 5 players on their team. This is a garbage game. I guess I would take it under just because, I mean, they both stink. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the Jets score, and I don't know how Philly scores. Jalen Hurts he just wants to run. So I don't know. This is a game I wouldn't bet anybody's money on this game. Cincinnati 3 over San Diego, over under a 50. Which San Diego team are you going to get? The one that beat Baltimore or the one that lost to the Jets? The one that beat Pittsburgh or San Diego's a very live dog. Now, looking at I've added the defense like I do in college here. San Diego, weak defense, but weak defense in the NFL, I think, is 25 or 26 points. There's not a whole lot of 30-point defenses in the NFL. So in the college, if you're 30 and over, you're a weak defense. In pros, I think it's 25 or 26 or something like that. So it's high 20s. So San Diego, weak defense, Cincinnati, strong defense. For what that's worth, I think this game goes over, I think is a good way. 50, you go over 44. But in San Diego 9, again, their teams are so bad you don't know because their coaching is horrible. You just don't know which team shows up. But Cincinnati's not a good home favorite. San Diego was a great road dog. So I like San Diego in the 9 here. And I like the over 44. Miami 4 over the Giants, but I think Daniel Jones is out or he's doubtful. You got to go under in this game. Where are they going to get the points? Jones play, the Giants aren't going to score. Miami can't score. 41, you go under 47. I think it's the only way you play. You can't trust Miami to win, and you can't take the Giants, especially if Jones is out. Barkley will probably run a little bit more. Oakland 2.5 over Washington. There's no trend on the game. Both teams have weak defenses. I think you play this game over 49. You go over 43. I'm not trusting Oakland as a favorite. I can't trust Washington as the dog. Two crap teams, and this, who knows? So don't really waste your money on it. Maybe over because the defenses both stink. Baltimore and Pit. Pitt's just pathetic, although they're really – Tomlin had pad practice this week. He's pissed off. The series is even. Pitt's a little bit of a trend here as a home dog. Baltimore, it's a decent road favorite, but they're Pitt's seen Lamar Jackson enough to know how to handle him. I can't trust Baltimore. I can't trust Pitt. Pitt will play well after giving up 100 points to Cincinnati. I think Pitt's in a do-or-die game. They have to win it. I just don't know if they're good enough to win it. Todd, I like New England and the under lock it. Okay, yeah, I already read that. Baltimore, okay, so Pitt will play good. I don't know if it's good enough, but I think it may be an under game, but it's hard to trust either team here. And this is the problem you have. There's Roethlisberger looked like shit. I don't know. I mean, this is the problem. These teams are so bad, you don't know what you're going to get. The Rams in Jacksonville, the Rams 13, over under 48. Jacksonville, terrible defense. All the trends are on the Rams. The bet against Jacksonville, there's plenty of trends on that. I look for the Rams to kill him, but I can't trust Stafford. He's so bad, such a choker. So I don't know how you lay 7 in this game. You can't lay more than a touchdown. They might blow out Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence sucks. Donald will give all he wants. I don't know. Maybe you go on. You can't. I'd say go under, but Jacksonville's defense is so bad. Stafford will throw a couple picks. Lawrence will throw a couple picks. Just don't even watch the game. Frisco 3 over Seattle. A little trend on Frisco. Both teams have strong defenses. Russell Wilson must be pulling his hair out. Now, for Russell Wilson not to beat Washington and not to win the game before after being shut out, there's a serious problem there. They don't have an offense. I don't know if the finger's bothering them, if the timing's off. I don't know what's going on. It looks like the offensive line can't block anybody. I think you got to over under 46. They both have good defenses. I think you got to go under in this game. I don't think there's any other choice. Seattle's a home dog. The way they're playing, I wouldn't touch them with 9. You can't take Frisco. They're playing better, but I think Deebo Samuel is out, I believe, if the injury's correct. So I think you got to just go under 52 here. Until Seattle shows you they can score 20 points. They got 15 with a late touchdown against Washington. I just don't see much here. And then Buffalo 3 over New England. Definitely like New England and 9. It's the play. Belichick, this is definitely a win. So I see the best 2 plays are New England and Minnesota. If Colt McCoy plays, I like Dalton, as long as if Dalton McCoy, take Dalton. Tampa should handle Atlanta. They're looking for the 1 seed. Now you got Tampa's won their division, but now they're hunting the 1 seed against Arizona. So look for them to pound Atlanta. Brady's blown them out all 3 times he's played them. KC Denver, it's a bit much. I think I like Denver as a live dog getting 15. Remember, they went into Dallas and blew them out, and they just beat San Diego. So Denver can be more than competitive in this game. Indy should beat Houston, and then maybe the over in the Cincinnati game. Maybe the over in the Oakland-Washington game. And that's it. And then if you want to go under in Frisco, but I think the best two there. So the best plays, you got Georgia under, Michigan over, Minnesota, New England. The over in the Utah game, the over in the Kent Northern Illinois game, the under in App State. Depending on the quarterback, Baylor, if he plays, I like Baylor. If he doesn't play, I like the under. Houston, Cincy go under. Wake Forest, Pitt, over, absolutely. And San Diego State, Utah State under. So those are all the plays. I've already got the one lock, which was Minnesota Vikings last week with Georgia +2. So what happens in a teaser world where I live, I had a huge lock on Ohio State. I talked about this in my other show, but so the big lock last week was Ohio State, Oregon State +19. Oregon State did their part. Ohio State loses. I had Ohio State with the Vikings. The Vikings win. But what happens is if Ohio State loses, now I got two locks that don't have, they don't have the partners. So all of a sudden, I had to play Oregon State with Purdue. And then I played Minnesota with Green Bay. And then I noticed the Georgia spread -4. So I played Minnesota in a lock with Georgia +2. And I'm watching Alabama struggle to get a first down on Auburn. And I go, well, hell, if they can't get a first down on Auburn, forget about it. So I immediately locked him against Alabama's going to struggle to score against Georgia. So I already got the Minnesota half in, and then I'll play Georgia under. That's what happens in the teaser world. So if you were to play Georgia +2, let's say with Minnesota Vikings, and Georgia loses, now you got to come up with Minnesota, in the neck. Now we do have next week to look at because they give you the spreads for the next week. So if you find another game, you can go week to week, provided your bookie lets you do that, which once the spread's posted, they usually do. Like I was able to bet Georgia last Sunday, or I think I bet it Saturday. I think I bet it during the Auburn game because Ohio State had lost, and that really sucked. But again, keep in mind, we're picking the future. Games are going to lose. We can love the game before the game, and then you hope, like Oregon State in 19. I love that game so much, and it was an easy winner. And so everything came through. It's just Ohio State forgot to play against Michigan, so they got the loss. But I hit a lot of good games in college last week, Purdue and Western Kentucky and Notre Dame. There was a lot of big winners. The big loser was Ohio State. I even had the Army. I wish the Army was in a conference and they could be in the conference championship game or in the playoff. I would take Army then. Any other questions, any other comments, any other picks or suggestions, please let me know. The best trends are, let's go to the pro trends: Minnesota, Green Bay, Arizona, Cincinnati, New England, Indy, Buffalo, and Miami. What that means is this year or in the last 2 years, they're over like 85% in the teaser. So like Green Bay's 10-1 this year or 11-1. So those are the teams that are hot that we want to keep betting on because they're very good in the teaser. Play against teams: San Diego, Houston, Miami, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Atlanta, Detroit, the Jets, and Minnesota. So, yes, Minnesota and Miami are on both sides because Minnesota plays every game close, and so does Miami. So, Minnesota probably beats Detroit by, well, they could beat them by 10, and you'd have them on both sides or 7. But, we'll play a -1, and they just got to win. There isn't the must wins like before. Where before it was, like New England was off of a loss, or Kansas City had a loss, they had to win. I'm not really seeing that. Most of the division leaders have a comfortable lead. Kansas City doesn't need to win, and everybody else in the division 6 and 5 needs to win. But the back against the walls, maybe Indiana or Indy against Houston. KC's in the lead. Denver really has the back against the wall there. Arizona's comfortable in the lead. Minnesota, it's a must-win for them. Oakland needs it. Baltimore, Pitt's back's against the wall, I guess, but they're so bad. See, when they're really bad, it doesn't matter their back's against the wall. They can't do anything. Like the Lions, their back's been against the wall the last 6 weeks, but what are you going to do? They're terrible. So you just keep betting against them. So that's probably the best. Bet against Jacksonville, bet against Detroit. As long as they're playing somebody you can bet against them with, which you can. Minnesota should beat them. And LA, I don't know. Stafford, he's playing very like the Lions, so you can't trust him. But I like my college. Again, I'll have a bowl package out next week. It'll be $100 for all the bowls and the playoffs. I'll do the same with the NFL. It'll be $100 for the playoffs. So right now there could be a couple of locks this week besides the Minnesota-Georgia lock. So you already know Georgia and 2's a lock. There'll probably be, I see 3 other games that I might lock, maybe 4. But there's a lot of strong plays, especially in college. You can buy the college for, I think it's $75. The pros, I don't. The pros are so difficult because the teams are so scrambled. Philadelphia, the Jets, the Giants, Miami. Good Lord, I have honestly no idea how to bet those teams. I just ignore them every week and look, and it leaves me like 3 or 4 games. Like, okay, mini Detroit, Arizona, Chicago, Tampa, KC, Denver, Indy, and then maybe New England, Buffalo, or others. So it makes it very restrictive when you got to throw out 3 or 4 games because you don't know the coach, you don't need the quarterback. And I look at the injuries on them, and I have no idea I never heard of half the players that are injured. So anyway, that's about it. So remember, the Western Kentucky and the Oregon-Utah game are Friday, and everybody else is Saturday. Again, Money Heist is on tonight, tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be on midnight or not, but I'm excited to watch the final 5 episodes and see the real professor get his way out of, get the gold and get out of there. I think Berlin's kid is the key because why would you introduce him? So I think you think they got him, and then Berlin's kid comes in, and Berlin, and he saves the day. He does something with his computer mind. Anyway, I think that's it. Watch the line on the Baylor Oak State. If it drops, that Bohannon's playing, tease the dog. If it goes up, then tease the under because Bohannon's out. So he's really the key. The Baylor quarterback has a hamstring issue. I don't know how bad, but otherwise it's a 2 good teams, and they both have a chance for the playoff. I think they both lost 1, and they both beat Oklahoma. And so I think Georgia's in. I think Alabama will lose, so they'll be out. Michigan beats Iowa, they're in. Cincinnati beats Houston, they're in. And then the 4th team probably will go to the Oklahoma State Baylor winner, would be my guess. Notre Dame hasn't beaten anybody. They lost the 1 game to Cincinnati. I don't know how you put them in over Baylor, Oklahoma State winner when they both beat Oklahoma. So hard to say. Oregon, Utah. Oregon's already lost a couple games. They're out of it. Utah, they already beat Oregon. They don't gain anything by it. I think they've lost. They lost to BYU. They're not even in it. So playoff needs to be about 8 teams, maybe 10. Now Alabama, they're going to lose 2 games. So should they be in the playoff? I mean, I don't know. But like Wake Forest and Pitt get screwed. The winner of the ACC should go into the playoff. Ohio State should be in it, even though they lost to Michigan. It was, they got 2 losses, but Tampa Bay's got 2 losses, and they won the Super Bowl last year with 5 or 6 losses. So I don't know where a couple of losses against good teams makes you a bad team. Or I love they didn't play anybody. Well, they beat everybody. Cincinnati, they beat Notre Dame. What do you mean they didn't play anybody? So I hate that argument. Anyway, don't let one game beat you. Don't let Ohio State get you too frustrated or depressed. It happens. It's part of betting. It's like poker. You flop aces. An ace comes you have aces. The ace comes on the flop and you lose to a straight because some idiot stayed in and got it. And you checked instead of betting strong on the turn. The turn's the key point in poker. That's when you hammer them, because by the river, the guy's already out. He's going to maybe bluff you. At the turn, he's waiting for his card. That's when you make a big bet, and the guy's not going to see it. And if he does see it and he misses, then he can't do anything on the river because he knows you got a big hand. You made a big bet. He can't bluff you. So that's when you make your big bets on the turn. But that's what you do. So you got to think of, yes, we lost Ohio State, but it's like flopping a set of aces and you lost. What are you going to do? You got the cards, you keep playing. And that's what this is. You've got to just forget about the Ohio State. We hit the Oregon State lock. We hit the Minnesota Viking lock. We hit the Georgia underlock. So you just have to keep going. There's very good plays this week. There's always good plays, especially with me. And you just that's why you bankroll it. You just bet your bankroll percentage, and you lose, and then you win. Now I'm excited, and I make a big unit lock, 29 units, because I love Ohio State. They always beat Michigan, and Oregon State was getting 19. So that made sense. Ohio State just didn't cover it. But you got to just move on. You got to say, well, okay, I bet a little bit more in my bankroll because of that, and I lost it. But here it goes. We won a lot of other games, and now I got this week, and you just keep going. You've got to, it's like a jump shooter in basketball. You got to just forget you missed 10 shots in a row and keep going. And that's what you got to do here. You just got to keep going with it. And we're going to have losers, and we just have more winners than losers, or the way we bet it. So, don't get too frustrated. Just keep going. And, again, we're assuming we'll win our games this week. I intend to win all the games, but I know that's not going to happen. It's just very hard to go undefeated. So anyway, any more questions or comments, please let me know. Todd, Derek, anybody else? Anyway, I apologize about the first attempt. I don't know if I lost internet or lost YouTube, but I couldn't come back. So anyway, have a good luck this weekend. Enjoy Money Heist tomorrow, and let's get some games in. So Georgia 28-0. That's my pick. Michigan 35-7. Those are my picks. So anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you very much. And www.teaserking.com. I'll have a few locks besides the Georgia +2 lock that's already in. So feel free to Georgia, and you can play it with Michigan, New England, any of those teams. Okay, everybody, have a great weekend. Thank you very much.